He's the president of Rohingya Association of Canada, and he's a human rights activist. He's a person who's not from any outside world, just making any numbers. He's a person who lost his both parents, who's a person who have migrated from his homeland twice a time, and he suffered a lot. So he will let you know that what the situation over there, and keep in mind that these are the people they has been declared as the most persecuted human beings. You know, in many parts of the world there are wars, there are conflicts, bombing, people are dying, but United Nations, they did not declare them as the most persecuted other people. Why they declared them as the most persecuted? So there is a reason behind of this situation. So I will invite brother Anwar Arkani that come over here and...
But what I will be saying here today, talking about, is the truth. Is the truth from the ground? Is the what do they say here? From the horse's mouth. Is the real thing. In Burma, the killing is going on as we speak. Although the major killing has been kind of subsided since last 2 weeks, the killing itself is never stopped. Security forces are still killing. The fanatics, Buddhists, they are still burning houses, killing young children, all women, throwing these small children to the water well, and all those, all kind of inhuman action that you can imagine, or probably it will be hard even for you to imagine what kind of tactics they're using to kill these people. I will go a little bit, a few years back, quite a few years, not only the recent issue, because this just did not start yesterday or 2 months ago. It has been there for about last 60 years or more, but unfortunately these people of the world, they don't know or they didn't care. Because of the backwardness in my country and the extreme restriction on the media and the restriction on everything, the government was very successful controlling everything. So whatever they do, the outsiders don't know. For example, their neighbors. Now what they are saying is, okay, what is happening, it is in my family, and don't come and bug us, or don't interfere. So that's why I would like to give you a little bit of background. This type of another huge massacre took place in 1942 when the Arkani state was still under British colony. British and Japanese were fighting, Japanese withdrew, and these fanatic Rakhine or Buddhists, they got guns from the Japanese, and then they decided, okay, this is a good chance to get rid of these others, means non-Buddhists. In 1942, they killed half of the entire population of Rohingya. Half. At that time. At that time it was about 120,000 or 130,000. So half of the entire Rohingya population. We got the independence in 1948. Since then, there have been many operations. They call under the name of so many different things, different names. This government carried out operations. They kill, they arrest hundreds of people, thousands of people, jail them. They come and rape women, kill them, butcher children. It has been one after another. This year, that year, I have actually a list here. It has been, before this big one, there has been 19 of them, non-stop. So one operation sometimes take like 2-3 years continuously. But the biggest one, so far I can tell you for your record, is in 1962 when Ne Win took power from the democratically elected government. He nationalized all the factories and companies, seized most of the properties and businesses belong to Muslims. Since then, the situation of Muslims becoming harsher and harsher, harder and harder. In 1978, there was another huge operation they call Nagami in Burmese word, which means King Dragon, the name of the operation. In that operation, the Burmese government jailed about 50,000-60,000 people without any issue. My father was among them, and he was killed in the jail. Well, I don't know, I was a little boy of grade 4. And I ran with my mother along with my family siblings to Bangladesh refugee camp. I spent there about 2 years. Then we went back. By the way, my mother was a survivor of 1942 massacre. Her mother's side, grandma, my Nana's side, my grandma's side, 95% of the population were completely wiped out, completely killed. So only a few people survived. My mother is one of them. She used to tell us all these stories when we were young. Because of that trauma, in 78, she quickly ran, along with other people. We were in Bangladesh. There were about 275,000 to 300,000 refugees in Bangladesh. At that time, the president of Bangladesh was Ziaur Rahman. The Ziaur Rahman and Ne Win in Burma, they made some sort of bilateral agreement. And all these refugees, most of these refugees were repatriated, and nobody knew what the agreement was or how much money was given to the Bangladeshi government not to raise the issue to the international community. Of course, there was some, a bit of news on television and newspaper, I guess, because I was too young to know those things. We don't know. Then, just 2-3 years later, there was the law in 1982, they call 1982 Citizenship Law, enacted especially to exclude Muslims from the citizenship of Burma. Our great-great-great-parents, I'm not going back to the history, I'm just telling you, I don't know how many generations of our forefathers have been in Burma and citizens of that land, belong to that land. Actually, the original people of that land. We didn't come from the sky or from another land. These Rohingya, initially, they are the original people of that land, converted to Islam. That's how they become Muslim. Initially, they were enemies, Hindus, Buddhists, and some other religion. There was no Christian at that time. Now they are saying that we are the illegal intruders from Bangladesh. That's why they are stripping of our citizenship from us. And immediately, overnight, we become stateless or countryless. We did not have a place to call our home or our country. And we became a people of floating, without destination, without belonging. Nobody wanted to own us.
Shame, shame, shame.
Then I was a small teenage boy, probably, based on the age, I was a little too matured. And then I decided to leave the country and didn't know what to do. Already the change was quite significant. How many ever these Rohingya and Muslims were in the public services, police, immigration, army, or whatever other government offices they were working in, they were slowly kicked out or retired, forcefully retired, and they are not taking in any more new. And then they stopped these Rohingyas from going to university. Only school, the highest education we can have in my country was grade 10. In my country, actually, the high school is grade 10. That is the only education we were able to pursue. Even then, after that, we don't know what to do because there is no job. If I go to school, that doesn't make sense. I couldn't get any job in any sector. There is no public sector, private sector in my country. It was so awkward. There was no electricity. There was no phone. It is a very rural country. Until today, people are using kerosene lamp for the light. There is no electricity. A lot of people ask me, hey, come on, if what you're saying is true, this is an informational age. Where is the picture? People can use iPhone or this phone, that phone. Let alone phone. They don't even have electricity.
Shame!
They're using kerosene lamp and walking on the mud, this knee-deep mud, to go to primary school. No shoes, no sandals. That is the situation of my country. And since 1982, things got harsher and harsher. And what they started doing was putting restriction on these Rohingyas, one after another. There is something called forced labor. I'm not sure whether any one of you are aware of it. The government, army and police come and arrest these villagers, regular people from the street, from the shop, from the mosque, force them to work for the government for free. You have to bring your own tools, whatever is needed, eggs or whatever digging thing, and they will not provide you food. You have to eat your own food and go work for the government weeks after weeks, sometime every week, like 2 days, 3 days. And you have to, and the army will come to the village and say, hey, in this area, I don't want to see anybody in 2 weeks. The government will not say anything else. If they will this is just an order. If I see you here, when I come back again, after 2 weeks, if I see you, I will either burn you or shoot you. So these people just disappear somewhere in the thin air. And then they will arrest people from the surrounding area as forced labor, make them build nice villages, they're called model villages, for new settlers. They bring Buddhist people from inside Burma and make them settle here on the land of these Rohingyas. And on top of that, they will seize this farmland from Rohingya and distribute it to the Buddhists. Not only that, when it is the time for cultivation, they will go and arrest these Rohingyas to plow the field for these Buddhists. So this has been going on like year after year. So people become increasingly landless and they do not have any IDs. Whoever had all IDs, 10 years, 20 years old IDs, the government have many different techniques to seize your any sort of documentation that you have that proves that you belong to that country. They will say, okay, you need this, bring this. Your grandfather's photo and censorship and all this, that. When they bring these things, they will not only, definitely they will be denied for whatever they are applying for or permission. In the meantime, they will take away all these documents and never return. So that's how very structural, this is very systematic policy to make these people a kind of
deprived,
like a countryless, to wipe them out, so that they cannot go to any other country and say, okay, here are the documentation, here are the things prove that I belong to that country. So increasingly these people are also, because the government systematically oppressed and discouraged education, these people have become illiterate. If you go to a Rohingya community in my country, 99.9% are illiterate. They don't know how to read, how to write in any language. Over time, these people become kind of doesn't know actually anything. They say, okay, this is the life, we're born here, and this is how the life is. In 1991-92, another huge operation took place in Burma. They killed thousands of people. Their technique is actually mass arrest, rapes. Rape is like they will go and maybe rape like 20, 30, 40 women in one day, one evening, one afternoon, in groups. Army will come in maybe 50, 60, in a group, maybe 100, and they will raid a village. Mostly this men, because when they see men, they will shoot. These men run for life, and then they get the, this wicked mothers and sisters. They are inside the house. They go and rape them. Most of them die. The others just survive with trauma for the rest of their life. And when they leave the village, they set fire on every house. This took place in 1991. Again, about 300,000 people fled to Bangladesh. And until today, there are about 30,000 recognized refugees in Bangladesh. They have been there for 22 years now, since 1990 or 91. There are also a lot of unrecognized refugees, about 300,000 in Bangladesh. Our Bangladeshi neighbors, I know there are a lot of Bangladeshi friends here come to support our cause. They know, they are aware of it. Unfortunately, they are worse than our own government. They don't see us in Burma, these Burmese, they don't see us as human. Similar situation is in Bangladesh. They don't see us as human. They see us like maybe cats, maybe dogs. Sometimes even less than a dog, really. They go and rape, harass. They don't let us stay in refugee camps. Whoever is coming, running from the death, not running from anything else. This is the exact truth, running from death. And they manage to come to Bangladesh. These people push them back, and they get killed in the process. Again in 1991, this Burmese government ran another operation. They buried alive thousands of Rohingyas. They arrest people from the village, and then they have to dig their own graves, big graves actually. They just kick them from the back. When they are there is another group, Rohingya. They arrest as forced labor, and they have to put earth on those people. Buried alive, they are crying there, screaming, but nobody is there to save. This is known to the rest of the world, but unfortunately, the media, they don't cover these things. It is known to the UN, it is known to the Human Rights Watch, Amnesty International, and whatever other human rights organization, big organization, you name it. They know these things. In 1997, again they did the same thing. And in 2001, they wiped out half of the population of our state capital city, Sitwe or Akyap. The original name was Akyap, and they changed it to a weird Burmese name called Sitwe now. Half of the population, Muslim population of that city was either kicked or kicked out from the city in 2001. And then because of this operation after operation going on year after year, people become increasingly landless and didn't know what to do. Starting 2005, these mostly young boys or young men, they started to escape they found a different way to go to Thailand, Indonesia, Malaysia, and they started going by boats. And then on the way, a lot of people drowned in the Bay of Bengal because these people are extremely poor and they didn't have money, they didn't have passport to, of course, because they do not have citizenship, they cannot acquire passport, they cannot have any other means to go to a safe land. or to go to somewhere to earn money, send home to support their families. So only way was to take the life risk using small rickety boats through Indian Ocean or Bay of Bengal. The journey was 16, 17 days, sometime 3 weeks, 4 weeks without food. A lot of people died. In 2006 and 7, I and my wife were in Thailand helping these thousands of refugees who were arrested, intercepted by the Thai government and arrested, put in the jail. And I just went there, happened to be there at that time, and then I decided to stay there, talk to the Thai government, unofficially convincing the local authorities not to arrest them, harass them, beat them, put them in the jail. And I told them the story, what is behind the running of these people, why they run. Why they run their own country and die in the ocean. Why they're jumping into your country and going to the jail. They're happy here. Why? There is a good reason. And I explained to them, one after another, after many attempts. Alhamdulillah, I was successful and I was able to save 3,300 people from the jail, from Thai jail. And I spent there about 18 months. What I was doing, I did not have any experience in those type of things. I just help people whenever I can. What I was doing there was really very costly. I was getting the food and some medicine from some NGOs, but the other expenses, it was just my own money. And I had about $22,000 when I went there, US dollars. I just got married, and before that I was single, so I had some money. I came back to Canada when I ran out of money. And the next year, Thai government arrested approximately 7,000 Rohingya fleeing from Burma through Bangladesh, through the Indian Ocean, going to find a shelter in Malaysia, Indonesia, or Thailand, somewhere there. They arrest 6,000 to 7,000 of them and put them in the boats, took the engine out from the boat, towed the boat, and left them adrift in the Indian Ocean.
Shame! Shame! Shame!
Now you can imagine what kind of horrible situation, what kind of horrible death these people had gone through. Floating in the ocean on a boat without engine, without food, water. They float there 14 days, 13 days, 10 days. People are dying one after another, ultimately everybody on boats. So they killed that way, the Thai government killed that way 6,000 to 7,000 people. How do we know these things? One of the boats that had 321 people or so was rescued by Indian Navy. About 80 something were dead, but the rest were rescued by a Navy. Then we got this information. Another 2 boats later rescued by Indonesian fishermen. That's how the news came out. Because I was helping specifically these boat people, I had a lot of connection with local authorities and some smaller NGOs and sympathizers around the border area. So they phoned me, sometime send email and send pictures. This is the situation, can you come back and do things? So unfortunately I have a family and I have cause, so there is only so much that you can do on your own. So I was not able to go. Since then, every year, people flee. People flee from Burma. As we speak, they are also fleeing. Yes, the Bangladeshi government is pushing them back. But where do they go? If they go back, they will get killed. They will get shot at. These Burmese forces are ready at the Burmese border to kill them, to shoot them. There was the news came out, actually, a small young girl, maybe about 10 years old. She said there were 5 boats. We came here, we were pushed back, and then 3 of them were fired from a helicopter from Burmese army, and they sang. All of them died.
Shame!
So this little girl and her family, I think 5 members in the family, was rescued by Bangladeshi local people. Somehow in the middle of the night they managed to get on shore in Bangladesh. Now, about this tragic thing, about this killing, I would like to talk actually a little bit longer so that you will have a good idea. I know it is hot, and I really again thank you from the bottom of my heart to come out in this hot weather, sacrificing your time and family time and everything. But if I tell you how this thing started, you would be able to know what is it, how it is started, and what is going on as we speak. It has been a specifically pre-planned, state-sponsored pogrom or massacre or whatever you name it. And a lot of people call it genocide, so I'm not a lawyer and I do not know actually the meaning. I think it is genocide. People are being killed in thousands and thousands. It's not a few. So it could be termed as genocide, massacre, ethnic cleansing, any of one of those. How it is started was the government, actually we are the weakest link in Burma, or I would say a scapegoat, because we do not have an armed group fighting against the government. We have many different clans in Burma. Almost every major group, they have arms group fighting against the government for their rights. Those groups are mostly Christian. We are another major group. We are Muslims, and we are the only one do not have armed group fighting against the government. Now they are saying that we are terrorists. We are the troublemakers. We came from another country. We are taking their women and their land and making problem for them. If you really look at the situation, we are the only group in entire Burma that do not have armed group and not fighting against the government.
Why there is no armed group?
Maybe that would be for a different talk, sorry. So, government find us as a scapegoat. Anything happen, anything goes wrong, they just ignite somewhere, they send their agents, do something terrible, and then they start killing Muslims. The first thing they will do is set fire on masjid, which is the trigger point to make these Muslims angry. And then the second thing they will do is rape indiscriminately young girl, old woman, all this in groups, like in many, not one. So these are the technique this Burmese government is doing. Since 2011 or end of 2010, we have been having so-called democratic government. Actually, these all army officers, they changed their clothes. No more army dress. They're wearing a white shirt or a blue shirt, and they call themselves civilian, and they become the government they call a civilian democratically elected government. Since they have been sitting in the parliament, there have been many occasions where the issue of Rohingya was raised, and they say these people are officially denying the high-ranking ministers, officially denying us of being Burmese citizens. They say these people are coming from Bangladesh, and these are illegal intruders, and they are not the citizens of Burma. We never heard of having a race named Rohingya in our history. Those are blatant lie. Just tell me, doesn't matter how poor the Bangladesh is, why somebody will jump into hell. Burma is a hell, burning hell. Burma is the biggest refugee-producing country in Southeast Asia. Why these Bangladeshi people, even though they are poor, they have democracy in their country. They can do anything they want. They can go to mosque. They can perform their religious duties freely without being washed out who is coming to shoot them. Why they will jump into a fire, burning fire in Burma. So they actually destroy a mosque in Shan State in May. And they were not to ignite this killing. They ignite this craziness in the name of sectarian violence. But it didn't happen. Muslims were just quiet, reported this into the government, nothing happened. And there was another one in a different state, also didn't happen. There was another one, they're tying every week. There was another one in a town named Kama. There was a very rich businessman who was not a Rohingya, actually a Burmese Muslim. He had companies, he has a lot of things, gas station and many trucks and stuff like this in proper Burma. Everything was taken from him, and then his house was completely destroyed and there was nothing left, nothing is standing. And it was in broad daylight, nothing was happened. Things were reported to the parliament, no one took responsibility, no action was taken. Then government is continuously trying to do something. In the meantime, in Arkani state, the situation of Arkani state for the last many years, I actually forgot to include that. Our situation has been, we cannot marry. We cannot marry, there are so many restrictions. If we want to marry, there are restrictions applies, like man has to be 25, woman has to be 20 minimum. You cannot have beard, you cannot wear cap, you cannot have more than 2 children. You have to go to the temple to get married. You have to get permission from the government. It takes 2 years to get a permission. And then you have to pay a lot of money. Even following all these things, including the bribe, it takes 2 years to get the permission come down. And about 3 to 5% of the application would be approved. This is just one, just marry. And you cannot go from one village to another village. We cannot go from one town to another town, let alone going to the capital city or another state or another province. You are completely forbidden. The punishment for attempting to go to another state is 7 years in jail with hard labor. Now, if you go to another village to visit your friends and relatives, you have to get permission from the authorities with money. Anyway, now this thing started by saying a young woman was killed and raped, a Buddhist woman was killed and raped by 3 accused Muslims. They are not proven, they are just, of course, it is the government version of it, and those people were arrested, then quickly followed by these Buddhists organized in another town, kill 10 members of Tabligh goers, like religious pilgrimage. They were pulled out of the bus, kill them in broad daylight in front of thousands of people. Then they started this riot in the capital city of the state, and then at the town in borders with Bangladesh. Now, what happens is this thing started. Government security forces, joined the Buddhist extremists, going from village to village, set fire. Whoever is coming out of the house, they shoot them. And in the commotion, whoever is running, small boys, they take these boys and throw into the well, into the water well. So if there is an, independent commission of inquiry go and check, they will find hundreds of young boys inside the water well. They kill en masse these people, and then they shave their head, make them look like monks. Now evidence are coming out slowly. The survivors, they're talking to the people who are video recording and sending out now. Those things we knew from the beginning, but nobody unfortunately believed us. And then this government supplied these machetes, long sword, and then gun, systematically go to the Muslim regions and shoot them, kill them, burn them. And although the major killing has been subsided since last 2 weeks, killing still continues. 2 days ago, there were two mosques raised to the ground, burned down, and when people went there to talk to the security forces, they shot at them, 7 died and 12 got injured. And Burmese government president, maybe all of you are aware, he said recently, proposed to the UNHCR head, said, okay, take these people, put them in a camp, and then send them to a third country. So, a kind of forcing them to go to another country. All these actions indicates that this is a clear setup by the government to completely clean out this Muslim from the state. So it is clearly an ethnic cleansing. Unfortunately, the Western media is not picking up. Now, the Buddhist monk and the Arakan Buddhist people, they are blocking the food. So I think by making this awareness and pressing our Canadian government and other government around the world, we would be able to save the Rohingyas who are still alive inside the country. Again, thank you for coming, and I really appreciate